Rabbeinu Bechaye explains the essence of Parshas Bo by saying the difference between Jews and Goyim. He brings a pasuk in Mishlei, Berov Am Ad Ras Melech. By having a big nation, it makes the king beautiful. Ube'efes leom, when there's no nation, the nation is efes, zero. Mechitat razon, it brings down the kingdom, the master, becoming a master. Razon means, come to the word, razon means skinny. You have leaders which are skinny leaders, called hosnim. But what's the idea? The idea is that the Jewish people, they trust Hashem. We trust Hashem. And really, Hashem is our king by us trusting Him. And Hashem rules the people individually, also publicly as a tzibur. But Hashem doesn't need intermediary. So really, a melech, Chazal teaches us that a melech is a bediavad. It's only if the Jewish people want to a melech, like kol hagoyim, like the goyim. So then Hashem says, okay, appoint a melech. But really, a king is the eved. It's like a goyim. The king trust, or the king energy, the king mightiness, the king's ruling comes from the nation. If there's no nation, there's no king. But Hashem, there's no nation, there's still a king. We don't add or don't subtract from Hashem, if we exist or don't exist. But when there is people that trust Hashem and make Hashem a king, definitely brings kavod, honor to Hashem. That's our existence. Hashem, God created us to bring honor to Hashem in our world. So really, kingdom, malchus, is a bediavad. The physical melech is a bediavad. I saw a medrash. The medrash says that veruach Elohikim merachefes al pnei hamayim. What is veruach Elohikim? The medrash says zeu ruchoi shel Mashiach. If Am Yisrael was zoiche, so then we're not going to have a Mashiach, a physical person. If we're not zoiche, we have a king Bosov Adom, a descendants of David HaMelech. So when we scream, we want Mashiach now, Mashiach, 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 is a bediavad. Really, what we should be, Hashem is the king. And we want Hashem Misgale Malchusa Ba'olam direct. We don't need Mashiach, we don't want Mashiach. We don't want Mashiach, we want Gil Hashem now. Okay? But it cannot be fake, it has to be real. Which comes out.
But the Nevi'im say that will come Passover.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to explain. Although, after the fact that we chose a king, and Hashem designate David HaMelech Melech L'Olam, but it seems to be from this medrash that decision is not forever. According to the decision that we chose in the king, and according to the decision chose the king, there is Hashem chose David HaMelech, and David HaMelech kingdom will continue L'Olam if we stay with that decision. But we have the ability to uplift ourselves from a decision and have a connection to Kodesh Baruch Hu direct. And you don't need Mashiach Bosov Adam, descendants of David HaMelech. It's a bediavad. Ashur Melech got angry. You're asking Melech Kechol HaGoyim. Okay, you want? I'll give you. He gave him a Melech show. Shmuel HaNovi, I meant to say. Shmuel HaNovi. Okay, you want? So once you want, there's a mitzvah to choose a king. It has to be, his father or his mother has to be Jewish. To be Mikir Avamecho. As rules, you have to have theorem, you have to have yira from the melech. You cannot see him washing, you cannot see him taking a haircut. There's halachas. He has to have those mitzvahs of a king. He has to have a sefer Torah in his what?
It's a positive commandment.
Positive commandment, but it's only ledaatam. This is the notion of the Rabbeinu Bachi. Al ken kov aloim b'Torah mitzvahs ese ledaatam. למנות להם מלך. אחר שיחטאו בשער מויסוי. After they sin and they ask for a king, there's a mitzvah to anoint a king, but it's only a bediavad. It's lehatchilah. Lehatchilah. And that decision, this is the big hinge we're eating today. That decision, it doesn't mean it's finished, locked out. No, we can back out and lift ourselves out of that sin, and we want Mashiach. Not Bos Avodah. We want the Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach.
The Midrash?
Yes. So the whole Mashiach and Ben David, it's a bediavad. Lehatchilah, we want Hashem should be the Melech only.
But if they
Sinai. You see what's in Rosh Malkeinu.
If they deserve Hashem, if they want a king.
Who's they?
In the generation of
Shmuel HaNovi.
So we are like smaller than them.
That's not true. That's not true. We could be a midgets above an elephant. We midgets, but we're above an elephant. So we can become bigger. The fact that the Midrash says if we can zoiche, we're going to have Hashem is the Melech, means it's after the fact that we chose the Melech, and Hashem said the David will be David Malki Melech Lo'olam. Still means we can lift ourselves and come back to the position Hashem is the Melech direct.
Everybody knows that. It's a problem.
What?
The people doesn't know that.
Because people want to hold on to people.
They have statements of Mazal.
No? I don't know if I'm afraid, but at least we come along board. Mashiach, what does Mashiach mean?
No, you have statements of
Gilui Hashem. In what way have Gilui Hashem in the world? Through a leader, or through Hashem is going to be Hashem Yudke Vovke or Shalach Malachoi Malach. Who's the Malach? Rashi says it's Moshe Rabbeinu. Right? We said we sent the message. Hashem sent us a Malach. The two Kalabim who's the Malach is Moshe Rabbeinu. But Hashem can lead himself. Hashem says, I'm going to send a Malach, an angel. We said we want direct. Yudke Vovke. We want directly the Malchus Hashem. Anyhow, so the Rabbeinu Bechaya says, what does it mean? Beroiv Am Adras Melech. That when we trust Hashem, we as the individuals, and Am Yisrael trust Hashem, that brings beautification to Hashem. And we have to fear Hashem. We have to put our trust in Hashem. And that's all. And even when we have a melech, We don't trust the Melech, we trust Hashem. So in what way we trust the Melech?
If he's a prophet and all that.
This is the language of the Rabbeinu Mechaye. כמי שעודו אינו אוילום ומלכוי ושכינוסי בקרבוי, מה חפצו במלך מוסף אדום? Somebody, a nation which has the master of the world as his kingdom, and the Shekhinah, the presence of Hashem, is in the midst of him, what can a desire have with a king, Melech Mosaf Adam? He says, that's why Shlomo HaMelech says, Beroiv Amadras Melech. The tzaddik that trusts Hashem is Borach, direct, he has more bitochen than the king, because the king needs the trust of his nation. That makes a king, physical king. So now you're better than the king, because the king needs a trust in the nation. You have a trust directly with Hashem.
The King David was trusting in Hashem.
True, but it's intermediate. So what do we have? We asked David to have a king, and the king has to trust in Hashem, but depends on the king, not depends on us. If the king has the wrong ideas, then he falls. So we trust in the king, that we trust that the king that trusts Hashem, and then he would fall. Sometimes he would fall, so we win. We don't know. So we're waiting for Mashiach Tzidkenu, a king like this, that is totally, that he can judge with smell, and was the big neshama, that you can 100% trust him, that he's going to be 100% with Hashem, that when we trust him, we know 100% that he's trusting Hashem, and is in line with Hashem, or whatever he says, in line with Hashem. So he has to be bigger than all the leaders we had until now. Because the Torah Akdosh talks about all our leaders, Moshe Rabbeinu and others, how they failed. And we have to trust Mashiach in a way there's no failing, 100%. So what really will only produce such a man? Or we want directly Hashem. So what's better? Directly Hashem? Of course.
Yes, he puts it. That's good sport.
What?
It's a strong sword.
It's a strong sword.
It's a strong sword.
We're not prepared. We're not capable. We don't have anybody.
I told you the other week, I went to Tel Aviv, and this guy told me, Menachem Horan, he came up with this book. This book is very famous in Israel. I don't know which one is it. What's the name of it? That they come out and say, Jewish people, all the leaders that produced are leaders that failed. That's what the Torah says. Say, Mela, Jewish people cannot produce leaders. That's their conclusion. I want to understand. He says, come on, you are a rabbi, you don't tell me you can produce. The history, the Torah is full of saying you cannot produce. It's always failing. I told them when I answered you, I told you last week, we're not Muslims, that our leaders are no faults. No, Adarabe. There's Badak, such great leaders, and we can't even compare ourselves to them. In the Dak Shabadak, Hashem says, I'm going to give you eternity. Sam Hashem, Vesvivov Nishava Mahoi, the Gemara in the Roma says, Akash Baruch Hu's Medagdik Misvivov Kechut Asayra. Because he's giving him such a greatness, says Medagdik even Dak Shabadak. But the bottom line is that they failed in Dak Shabadak. Is that considered failing? Okay, Alavai will have a leader like Moshe Rabbeinu today, or is a Mashiach. Alavai. But we are searching that Mashiach Tzidkenu will be a perfect leader, that are zero failing, even Dak Shabadak. Okay, the Jewish people are going to be in a better situation. Because then Mashiach Baal and Israel do tshuva, so we do tshuva, so we'll be in a preparation. We'll be nisim before us in the world, so we see Hashem. Hashem is going to be a lot of other circumstances around it, that the Jewish people are going to be in a position that, or the whole world will be to see Hashem. So you made the test that Moshe Rabbeinu and others leaders on, they're not going to have to say that it will fail. in general. But Afar PK, we're waiting for Mashiach that will be totally pure and totally complete. But according to the Medrash, it's only one level of Zechiyah. If we Zoicha, we can turn back the situation. In Hashem, we Moilech direct, no Mashiach, no physical man. Maybe such a Mashiach will happen. Mashiach Hashem. Hashem will be. So the Rabbeinu Bechaya says that when Balak saw, Vayar Balak ben Tzipor, that's the first verse. Vayar Balak ben Tzipor eskol asher asa Yisrael ha'imohim. What does that mean? Since, although Sichon and Og were tremendous kings, that tremendous army, tremendous leaders, and all of them fell in the hands of Moshe Rabbeinu, which was a king. So Balak, which was a king of Moab, he got scared. Because Balak, his power was his army, his neighbors, their army. So then when he lost them, he got scared. But the Jewish people they don't trust in Moshe, they trust in Hashem. Moshe brings the words of Hashem, but don't trust Hashem. So they trust in Hashem, they have no problem, they're strong. This is Rabbeinu Bechai.
That's why when they fight Edom, when they go away from Edom, after they stand against Hashem,
he's trying to say like this. This is not symmetric. By going, the power of the king is not only the nation trust the king, it's also God's verses. There's power of the king that he trusts in the Am. By Hashem doesn't need to trust the Am. He doesn't trust, he's strong on his own. It's only one way, not two ways. When we trust Hashem, when we depend on our bitochen on Hashem, when we praise Hashem, it brings glory to Hashem, so Hashem gives us good. So Balak, when he lost his power of his nation, of other nation, other powers, and then he became weak. He had no power to fight against the Jews. The Jews, they have both ways. Hashem, they don't need Hashem to trust them. Hashem is strong on his own. They just need to trust Hashem, not Hashem them. They're on the winning side. So even when Chad V'Shalom will be in the same position of Balak, that we see enemies of ours winning in other nations and winning, and even hurting the Jewish people, still we have to put trust in Hashem. And we know Hashem is on its own. He can get rid of all the goyim, of all the enemies. But Balak is all strength as a king, his nation, his armies, his people around him. When they got destroyed, Sichon and Og, so he all fell down. His whole power went down to the drain. He lost balance. So this is really the message which we have to talk to ourselves. We want Mashiach, it's only one aspect. But really we want to connect to Hashem, we want Malchus Hashem. So it can be Malchus Hashem direct, or through intermediate, through Mashiach. But as far as what really we trust, is we trust Hashem. That's what we have to work on. To build a bitochen in Hashem, a trust in Hashem, direct. How do you build a direct bitochen, yira shamayim? A person is learning Torah 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. He can test himself. The Saba Mikelim says, how can a person test himself if he has a real internal yira shamayim? He learns 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 60 years. How does he know that he has internally yira shamayim? Does he have the fire and the will of connecting to Hashem constantly all the time? Or he's tired out and he's ready to sleep and relax. He wants to get vacations. I'm talking about from Hashem, oh no, not physically. A person has to rest. He wants to go to sleep. No. It's out the emotions and the fear of Hashem. He constantly has internal fire that he always wants to connect. And what does he do in his spare moment? He always wants to connect to Hashem. Then he knows he has Yiras Shamayim Pnimis. But when a person doesn't have that constant desire, when he learns, but when he's not there. He's not constantly hungry to grow and connect to Hashem. He knows he doesn't have Yiras Shamayim Pnimis. So people can learn Torah for many years as a job. That's not Yiras Shamayim Pnimis. Yiras Shamayim Pnimis, that's the essence. They always have a relation with Hashem, a direct relation with Hashem. Whatever they do, they think about Hashem, thinking what Hashem would want from me. What I'm doing is Hashem seeing me, and He knows my thoughts and my feelings, and every feelings and every thought which I have, and I have a relation with my wife. She said that word, and I said that word. She got hurt, this, that. I'm thinking to myself, whatever I'm going to answer back, Hashem sees me, my emotions, or my friends, or my teacher, or my bank, or my store, or this, that. Whatever I do and feel and think, I'm always aware that Hashem is seeing me and looking at me, and I always wanted to do the will of Hashem. So my how do you call it, matzpen in English? My compost. Yes, is always north, means always to Hashem. Always constantly, I'm focusing on Hashem, and I'm putting my trust and my connection to Hashem. It's always there. The fire is constantly there. Once we have that, then a person knows that he's on the right track. He has no fear. Whatever problems sours out his life, he floats. Doesn't hurt him. Because he's always with Hashem. The ups and downs of life doesn't move him around. He's always never lost north. He never lost. His matzpen is always direct him to the right place. They say with this guy, the leader of Israel now, the state of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu. They asked him, for 40 years you say get rid of Iran. How come with all the problems you had in the parliament, this and that, and never? He says it's like he used to have a course of an athlete. He had to dive under the water and get to some place or to attack somewhere. So he says when he went down to the beach is filled with flashing waves and stones and rocks there, in that area where they teach him how to dive and that. He says, you have to focus to go into the water, and under the water everything is quiet, and he has his matzpen, which direction he has to go, and he puts his hand straight, compass, and that's where he's driving, and then all the rest of the noise doesn't bother him. That's the mashal I thought to myself, we have to have with Hashem. You have to have a direction to Hashem, and all the noise and ups and downs and emotions and problems of life doesn't move us from driving towards Hashem. His mitzvah is connected to Hashem at every moment, every aspect of our lives.
It's called tunnel vision.
That's we still have.
Tunnel vision. What? Then he told me. So we have to trust in Hashem. So Mashiach, it's a great thing, but it's bediavad. Bediavad. We don't want Mashiach direct with Hashem. We want direct relation with Hashem. We want to elevate that, to develop that, and to have a direct connection with Hashem. That's what we want. But we have to have a relation with our Melech to us direct.